Remember, everyone's motivated differently. Listen to each other. Communicate. It's such a small thing. It's such a big, big, big thing. These are all my own opinions. I am not speaking on behalf of the company that I work for. I've been having technology discussions with companies that I work for and customers for over 15 years. And I've noticed a few things that are very small that can make a huge difference and save people a lot of time. Usually the biggest challenge has to do with organizing the data, organizing the information. We have it all, it's just not organized in the way that we need it. And so we end up in conversations about that organization. How are we going to organize this? So this is where the little details make a huge difference. So I've thought of a few things that come to mind that are just small, that a lot of people don't naturally do, that are critical inside these conversations. So the number one thing is listening, repeating back what someone said. A part of listening, but a very distinct process. And then asking others to repeat back what you said just for the sake of communication. And then the final thing is recognizing other people's motives and really defining what those motives are before going into the conversation in your own mind. When we repeat back what other people say, I heard you say this, and I'm assuming that it's because you're motivated this way. Am I on the right track here? Sounds like a waste of time. Some of us have an internal dialogue. I do certainly at times where I say, don't waste your time repeating something back. We don't have enough time as it is. That's a waste of time. Wrong. It's definitely not a waste of time. As a matter of fact, it's probably the opposite. Most likely, it will save you time. Most likely, the communication that you have with those other team members in whatever call you're on is the most important factor to getting what you want faster in technology. Communicating with those people. Make sure you understand what they said. Make sure they understand what you said. Recognize that different ages perceive different things about technology just because of their exposure to it. Some of us grew up without cell phones, and some of us grew up with a smartphone. Very, very different perspectives when you're talking about technology. It's okay. It's not about ageism. It's about understanding what their perspective is. Make sure you understand. I'm assuming that because you grew up with a smartphone, this is easy for you, or this makes sense to you, or you believe this about this. Tell them that you assumed it and let them correct you, So typically, someone who's involved in food safety or drug safety, conversations that I'm a part of recently, are more motivated by an adverse event happening, which may only be 1% of the time, but they're motivated by it because when it happens, people get very sick or they die. And for that reason, they have to focus a lot on that adverse event. It's only going to happen a small percentage of the time, but when it happens, it's a really big deal. Understanding the person's motivation before the conversation and knowing that that person concerned about safety is going to be in the same call with the IT lead, business liaison, who is concerned not so much with safety at all, as much as managing complex technology, and then realizing that a legal person or a regulatory team member might be on that same call, and then a salesperson or someone that works for the company that has software is also on the same call, and they also have motivations that are different than everyone else on the call. So simple. Everyone knows this, but it's good to step back every time and have that reminder. Remember, everyone's motivated differently. Listen to each other. Communicate. It's such a small thing. It's such a big, big, big thing.